Hello and welcome back to Humans in Society. This video focuses on the subject Introduction to the Philosophy of the Human Person and the lesson Methods of Philosophizing Part 1, Truth and Knowledge. Epistemology is the study of the nature of knowledge and the process of acquiring and validating knowledge. Knowledge is the awareness or familiarity that a person gains through experience or reasoning. We use our senses to perceive objects and events. We use our minds to process these perceptions in order to make sense of them. The meaning that we find is retained as knowledge. Knowledge is truth, and truth is knowledge. We validate our knowledge by finding out if it is the truth. There are 5 factors in acquiring knowledge: reality, perception, concept, proposition, and inference. We will be going through each factor one by one. Reality is everything that exists in the universe. Tangibles are things that we perceive in our surroundings, material objects we can see, hear, taste, smell, and touch. Intangibles are things we have in our minds, like our dreams, feelings, and ideas. These are all part of reality. Perception is the ability to be aware of our surroundings through our senses. It is what connects us to reality. The 5 basic senses help us perceive the tangibles, and our other senses help us perceive the intangibles. Concept is an abstract idea or a general notion by which we group the realities that we perceive. This is how we define the things in our lives. First-level concepts are basic ideas we have in childhood, from which higher-level concepts are formed as we grow older. We form higher-level concepts through generalization or through subdivision. Generalization is when we collect smaller ideas into a bigger one. We can make bigger generalizations by making bigger groupings. For example, human beings, dogs, birds, and fish are all animals. Animals and plants are living things. Living things and non-living things are all matter. Subdivision is when we split an idea to make it more exact. We can further subdivide a concept into finer distinctions. For example, in an orchestra, there are woodwind, brass, percussion, and string sections. The string section is composed of the violins, viola, cello, bass, and piano. The violin section has first and second violin members. Proposition is the building block of logic. It is a declarative sentence that is either true or false, which states that a perceived reality belongs or does not belong to a certain concept. An affirmative proposition claims that a statement is true. For example, all men are equal. A negative proposition states that a statement is false. For example, men are not equal. Inference is the thinking process from which we derive conclusions based on propositions we believe to be true or false. Based on the previous example, all men are equal, if we have observations like, I am a man, you are a man, a cat is not a man, we can infer that you and I are equals, but the cat is not equal to us. We validate the knowledge we acquire through retracing, proof, consensus, and testing. Retracing involves going back through the factors for acquiring knowledge in reverse order. We start with inference to proposition, concept, and perception to get back to reality, which is the truth. This way of validating knowledge requires the use of our senses to find out the truth. Not all truth can be validated personally by our senses. The second way of validating knowledge is by finding proof. Proof is a definitive way of finding out the truth. It involves laying down evidence and finding connections between them in order to make arguments to support the claim. The statement "the earth is round" is something we cannot validate using our own senses. We accept the study done by scientists as proof of its truth. The third way to validate knowledge is through consensus. If a majority of people say it is true, then it must be true. This is the least effective way of validating knowledge, as there are many so-called truths that people believed that were later invalidated by proof. Examples of this would be the earth is flat and it is the center of the universe. The fourth way to validate knowledge is to test it. Scientific and mathematical theories that are now considered facts are proven through repeated experimentation with the same outcome. Testing can also be used in our daily lives to validate knowledge. For example, if we want to know if food is delicious, we taste it. If we want to know if we want to marry someone, we date them. The difference between truth and opinion is that truth is validated knowledge, while opinion is a personal idea. A truth is based on fact, while an opinion is based on emotions. Truth can be confirmed by other sources, while an opinion is open to interpretation and therefore cannot be confirmed. A truth is independent of one's personal biases or preferences, while an opinion is inherently biased. For example, the statement, "Sinigang is a Filipino dish," is a truth, while the statement, "Sinigang is better than adobo," is an opinion. There are three theories to verify the truthfulness of a statement: the correspondence theory of truth, the coherence theory of truth, and the pragmatist theory of truth. In the correspondence theory of truth, a statement is true if it agrees or corresponds to perceptions of reality. We use our senses to verify the truthfulness of a statement. In the coherence theory of truth, a statement is true if it can be tested and it coheres as part of a larger set of ideas. Testing is important in verifying truth using coherence theory. In the pragmatist theory of truth, a statement is true if it accurately describes the situation, it prompts us to anticipate the experience correctly, and it fits with already verified knowledge. Proof is important in verifying truth using coherence theory. For an example of how each theory works, we will use the statement, "Everything falls down." It can be verified by correspondence theory by throwing different objects in the air to see if they will come down. If we throw something that does not immediately come down, like a helium-filled balloon, we can use coherence theory to derive that because of the properties of helium and the fact that the Earth has gravity, it means that the balloon will come down eventually, but it will take a longer time. So the statement is still true. In pragmatist theory, the statement is verified as true when the objects have indeed come down, because the statement has accurately described the situation that happened. All three theories of truth have their own strengths and weaknesses. No theory is better than the other. You may use any theory that is most appropriate for you and your statement or situation. The important thing is that we verify the truth, and it is now considered as knowledge. The ideas discussed in this lesson are based on the content standards of the Department of Education. Thank you for watching and see you in the next lesson.